Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Let's get started. It's no secret that we as musicians all suffer from writer's block from time to time. It happens to me quite often. Sometimes I feel like everything I make sounds the same. And today I want to show you guys one of my favorite ways to get around that using the Teenage Engineering OPZ and an amazing step component that I've only recently just started using, and I really like it. So if you don't know what step components are, basically they are these little components, I guess you could say, that affect each individual step of the 16-step sequencer on the OPZ. Each step component is represented by one of these white keys down here. And you can see they all have their little icons that show what they do. Now I use the last one pretty frequently. That is a step component that allows you to turn off or on a note every certain amount of times it goes through the phrase. It's pretty cool, pretty complicated, and you can really get into some cool stuff with it. However, I've kind of let the rest of them just go by the wayside. So I've started using the first one quite a bit, the pulse step component. What that does is it takes whatever step you're on and triggers it a certain amount of times. Now, that doesn't sound that cool. It sounds just like this one down here, which I believe is the multiplier. However, it does it in a very unique way, and I'm going to show you guys how I use this to break out of kind of a creativity rhythmic prison, I guess you could say. So to do so, we're going to go ahead and come up with a very basic pattern. Let's get a kick drum here. Let's just go 4 on the floor. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. Let's get a snare drum. Perfect. 2 and 4. Let's get some hi-hats. That's cool, we'll play that in live. Let's get the click out of there. Let's quantize the hi-hat. There's our pattern. So let's dive right in. We are going to go back to the kick drum track, and we're going to put a step component on our kick drum. We're going to use that pulse component here. So to do that, we're going to hold shift. We are going to select which steps we actually want to have the step component affect. In this case, the 4 steps that we just played, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we are going to, while still holding the shift key, press that first F right there, the pulse step component. We'll now see that the number 4 is lit up. What that means is it's going to trigger each one of these 4 times. However, just for the sake of this demo, let's press 2. Right now we could press any of these keys, and it would trigger 1 through 9 times each individual step that we selected. If we do 0, it's going to actually do that a random amount of times, and we are going to come back to that one because it's very cool. So we've got 2 selected. We can release shift. Let's go ahead and hit play and listen to what this does. Did you figure it out? So what it does is it actually triggers each step twice, and it holds on that step as it's triggering. So instead of pretending like the first 2 notes were dung dung right there on the first and second of our pattern, it plays them both dung dung. It actually retriggers, and then the bass drum track moves on, causing the affected track to fall out of sync with the rest of the song. Listen to it again. If we actually count through the bass drum track, we'll see that it's 5 counts long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how that works? It's very neat, and it can lead to a whole bunch of different possibilities. Let's go ahead and stretch it out. Let's change that to 4. So to do that, hold shift, select the 4 steps we want to affect, the same ones. We're going to press the step component button once to turn it off. Press the same one to turn it back on, and it defaults to 4. Let's just leave it there. Let's have a listen. See what it does? It triggers 4 times, then moves on to the rests, thus changing the rhythm drastically. We can do this with other tracks too. Let's move to the snare drum track. Hold shift, select count 2 and count 4. Press that F there to engage the pulse component. And let's set this one to 2. Now let's have a listen. You can hear the pattern evolving right in front of you. It's very cool. So at this point, what I would do is listen to that closely and pull out little rhythmic tidbits that I enjoy, and then I would jump to another project or just jump to another pattern on this project and quickly sketch it out before I forgot while it was still fresh in my mind. Let's go to the hi-hat track and also change this up. This one's going to be cool because there's 2 different sounds on here. We've got this sound as well as this sound. So let's go ahead, hold shift. We're going to select all of these steps here. We're going to press that F to engage the pulse step component. And let's go ahead and set it to 3, just be kind of random and off. This is going to be wild. Let's listen. See how neat that is? The cool thing is if we were to go in and remove all the step components, which is pretty simple, just go to each of the tracks, select the steps with the shift key held and press the same step component to turn them off. When we remove them, that crazy pattern just came from 4 on the floor, snare drum on 2 and 4, 8th notes on the hat. What if we want to take this a step further and really get some inspiration? Well, let me show you how to do that. Go to whatever track you want to add the, we'll say the spice to. In this case, let's just keep it on the kick drum track here. We're going to hold shift, select those 4 steps again. While still holding shift, we're once again going to press the pulse step component button, but instead of selecting 1 through 9, we're going to press 0, then release shift. What that does is each time the step component triggers, it's going to trigger a random time between 1 and 9. Let's have a listen. It's pretty wild, pretty wild. Let's go ahead and do that on the hi-hat track as well. Holding shift, I selected all of those. I'm going to press pulse and then select 0. Pretty nuts. When I do this, I like to keep one of the tracks with no step components on it, just so I can kind of stay grounded to the original feel of the measure. In this case, the snare drum on 2 and 4, just so I kind of have a little bit of reference as where to look when I'm actually pulling these crazy rhythms out, if that makes sense. Just a trick I've kind of like to keep in there. Let's switch back to the bass drum track, and for the sake of jamming, we can record pitch changes into our 4 different notes here. So all I did there was hold the record button and just spin the wheel a little. The first dial there, which changes the pitch on page 1. And since it's just re-triggering these, all it did is it saved each knob turn to one of these steps. So this first one here is always high pitched. See how that works? Each of the individual steps maintains the same pitch that I changed it to whenever it was originally triggering as I held the record button. So right there, I just got an idea, so I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to go put the kick drum right here, and we're going to go like something like that. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of talking drummer. Didn't like the hi-hat there. So that catch, just like that. There we go. Got Unless I could just turn up the click. But right there, I've got that down. We'd be off to the races. From here, of course, I can change the sounds that I like. I can change the parameters, and we can start building the rest of our track. So there you have it, a great solution for when you feel rhythmically roadblocked. Using the Teenage Engineering OPZ and just a simple pulse step component, you can really get some variance out of this and some awesome inspiration for your project. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out those links down below. We'll see you next time. Bye.